I need to speak a little more about genetics, about vaccines. We are still very much into this COVID-19, seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, but I need to say a few things. Vaccines, down through the last couple of 100 years or so, have been proved to work. You need to go on the internet and type in George Washington and vaccine, or George Washington and smallpox, and learn the story there about smallpox at the time of George Washington and his army. Learn there how he decided to do things and how he decided to vaccinate his army, fearing smallpox more than the sword from the enemy. And you can study that. Just go on the internet, George Washington and smallpox. Then you can go on the internet and study deeply all about smallpox and the vaccine that was finally invented in the 1960s. And you can read all about the factual history of smallpox and the modern vaccine that was invented, and the elimination, the destruction of smallpox around the world. It is a fact of history, and it is a fact that that smallpox vaccine did work, and smallpox around the world was eradicated. We do not have it anywhere in the world now, and it was due to the invention, the scientific invention of the smallpox vaccine. So vaccines have proved to work. There's other historical accounts also of types of inoculation, types of vaccines that have worked. And there's other examples in history where you can read about it and find that they do indeed work. And this COVID vaccine, well, let me back up a little. You need to do yourself a favor when you can afford it, when it's on sale, and from the teaching company, right? Punch it in on your searcher, teaching company, or the great courses, and get their 24 lecture course by a PhD guy on genetics, and get it when it's on sale. I think it only cost me $50 or $60 US. 24 lectures, half-hour lectures by a PhD fella on genetics. And you will find that the modern vaccines that have been brought out in the last year or so to combat COVID-19 is based upon the latest scientific knowledge of genetics, how your genes work, how your cells work, how DNA, how the replication of DNA, how indeed your immune system works. And these vaccines that have come along for COVID is based upon how your bodily system works to fight off the enemy. And it just helps out. It helps out, these vaccines, your immune system, more and more so. And they have been shown to work. And the facts is, if you're willing to look at it, the facts are that most people now that are coming down with COVID and end up in the hospital, the vast majority of them are ones who have not been vaccinated. That is a fact. And yes, they've said from the beginning that vaccination doesn't mean that you will never catch COVID, but it will usually be of a lesser degree of ill health. And it will keep you out of the hospital, and it will certainly keep you 99.99% of the time from dying if you have these vaccines. So they are invented scientifically today with the knowledge of genetics, invented to help your body and to help your natural immune system to fight the bad guy, to fight COVID. Yes, the facts are there. You can go on the internet and punch in, how do these COVID vaccines work? And you can read all about it. You can punch in this information on the internet, and it's all there if you will just take the time to read and take the time to study and take the time to find out. You can punch in what are the ingredients in these COVID vaccines, and it will come up. But it is, my friends, showing, the facts are that these COVID vaccines are working. And for the vast, vast majority of people, these vaccines are not going to have any bad effects. That's the vast majority. I know there's a few, but our health today is so mixed up in the Western world. We are basically way unhealthy. We need to be healthier. And there are things that you can do to be healthy. You can look into eating the right kind of foods, your diet, your exercising. Are you getting exercise? Are you getting enough sleep? Do you have little stress? All of these things go into making you a healthier person and your immune system stronger and stronger. But today, in our Western world, our diets, for most people, are atrocious. Let me give you one example. Charles Atlas, go on the internet and see Mr. Strongman, the first Mr. World, Charles Atlas. And in his course that you can still buy, he said regarding diet that one of the greatest sins, shall we say, that was ever invented by mankind was white flour. Yes, naturally and normally you don't get white flour. In nature itself, as you grind the wheat, it's whole wheat flour. And Charles Atlas said, stay away from white flour products like the plague. And you just think now of all the things that are made from white flour. Not only all the pastries and all the goodies and the donuts, but you've got many things that are made with white flour. And just a little bit of effort on your part to use whole wheat flour and to stay away from white flour products. They do you no good. And in fact, they do you harm in the long run. You don't get good health by Mickey Mousing around. You've got to be serious about it, about what you eat. And that's your fruit and your vegetables, and having a balanced diet, and eating whole foods, organic as much as possible, and just indeed using whole wheat flour, organic whole wheat flour, and staying away from white flour products. And that was one of Charles Atlas's main teachings in his course on health and strength. Indeed, there are lots of things that you can do, lots of things that your life possibly needs to change in the way that you live, what you eat, how you sleep, how you exercise. All of these things help to make you healthy and to strengthen your immune system. And again, take the time to go on the internet and find out about these vaccines for COVID, how they're made, what they do, what's in them. and just acknowledge the statistics. Acknowledge the statistics that most people now that are coming down with COVID and end up on the ventilators are people who are not very healthy and people who are not vaccinated. It's a serious situation. The world has a long way to go yet, like it was in the days of smallpox. The world has a long way to go yet to eradicate COVID-19. We did it with smallpox, and if we're diligent, we can do it with COVID-19 as well. When there is nobody around anymore that can be infected by that, like it was with smallpox, then it can be eradicated and we can get back to a normal, healthy way of living.